governors.
They thank me for the cooperation they're getting. They said they've gotten all that they need. They just want to know what we think is going to happen from here.
Sarah Weddington, an attorney in the landmark Roe v. Wade case, has died, according to statements from friend and former student Susan Hayes and U.S. Representative Lloyd Doggett. She was 76. Weddington attended McMurray University before graduating from the University of Texas School of Law in 1967. This is USA Radio News.
If you're concerned about the power grid and want to generate your own supply of off-grid electricity, this will be the most important message you'll hear this year. Here's why. We now have a small number of solar generators back in stock. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving backup power when you need it most. And unlike gas generators, solar generators run quietly, emit no dangerous fumes, and produce an endless supply of free electricity from the sun. Whether it's wildfires, dangerous weather, power grid issues, or just getting off the grid, you'll never have to suffer through painful power outages again. Even better, all this week, radio listeners get over $700 in free off-the-grid bonuses too. Go to mysolarbackup.com to learn more and check availability. That's mysolarbackup.com. Look for the free report, Crisis Cooling, how to make absolutely sure your meat, milk, and medicines stay safe and cool in any power outage. Yours free at mysolarbackup.com.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros, trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
Think you know Dex Imaging? Think again. In the office, streamlining communications. In the field, delivering top-notch service, enhancing productivity and reducing downtime. In the data center, a part of the growing digital document revolution. In the world of business, supporting entrepreneurs and helping companies grow. In the forefront of technology, developing cutting-edge document management solutions. So if you think you know Dex Imaging, you don't know Dex.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, & Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, & Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Ocala Business Leaders Incorporated is a group of independent local firms providing a wide range of quality goods and services. Each firm strives to maintain the highest level of professional integrity and 100% customer satisfaction. When you're looking for goods and services, call a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, and we are confident you will be pleased with the results. If you're interested in becoming a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, join us at the Ocala Municipal Golf Course, 3130 East Silver Springs Boulevard, any Wednesday at 6:30 a.m. and enjoy a breakfast on us. For more information, check OcalaBusinessLeaders.com.
Dad's service to our country is something we're so proud of. He made a difference and set a great example. Now it's our turn to honor the sacrifices he made for our family and this country. As veteran specialists, Hires Baxley Funeral Service helps us celebrate Dad's life and can help you too. Hires Baxley is here for you during your time of need or when planning for the future. For more information, call 352-484-0891 or visit hiresbaxley.com/choice.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Tuesday. It is a somber Tuesday for me as 13 years ago today, the matriarch of my family passed away from complications of COPD. She would like to tell you she passed away from complications of smoking 3 packs of Benson and Hedges a day. I happen to agree. Galen, my mother, left this world 14 years ago today, but left it with a good mark. She left 3 wonderful children that carry on the legacy of a crazy Italian woman, so it's pretty good.
3 plus you, or
no,
or do you
3
yourself
counting
in
me. 3. Actually, I could be counted as 2, to be honest with you. Let's be honest, okay?
That's all right. Next level.
By the way, my buddy Corey said he still eats Popeye's canned spinach, and that would work for him. He's a professional MMA fighter, and his nickname is Popeye, so that would work. There you go.
Yeah, that's a brave dude. Yeah, I mean, we've all eaten it because we had to. You know, again, they sold some spinach.
Yeah,
No doubt
so,
about it.
hey, I also need to say happy birthday to the mother of my children and the wife of a very good friend of mine. We always say that whenever I see her, I go, how's your wife and my kids, to my buddy Richard. But his wife, Amanda, it's her birthday today. They're headed down to Orlando to take in some adult time without the children on her birthday. So happy birthday, Amanda. She's actually listening as she's driving down the road. She's probably slapping Richard right now saying, I can't believe he just embarrassed me like that. But, you know, what are you going to do? It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
That's awesome.
So we've been going down memory lane here, Galen, and we've the things that we did as children, or the things that we were allowed to do because there wasn't these freak out restrictions. Okay? And now I don't have children, so I can't tell you how I would raise my kids and all, but when did parenting like your parents stop for you and change for you? Or did it not change for you? Did you let your kids ride in the back seat with no seatbelt on, or sleep in the back window when you were going on vacation? Or, you know, when is that your child rearing, or when did things change for you that you didn't raise your children the way, they didn't drink out of water hoses all day and everything like that?
Well, seatbelts, you just get a ticket. And that's, I think if our parents knew what we knew, I think they would have put us in a seatbelt.
Child seats were nothing. There was no child seats.
There was no such thing. And you can't lay in the back seat of a car anymore the way you could back in the day.
We slept in the window. Right? I mean, we could sleep in the window.
That was a shelf. That was a shelf for you. I mean, there's a lot of things that I believe in letting my kids have some freedom. You know, if you want to go ride your bike, go to your bike. Where and especially once they have a car, I tell my wife all the time, like, we either trust them or we don't. And if we don't trust them, then they shouldn't leave the house.
My mom,
and I think that's it.
My mom literally had this conversation with my dad, and he told me about it years later when I was in my late teens. He told me about it, and I laughed so hard. I was probably 8, 9 years old. I had the Huffy motocross bike when, everybody else had the banana seat bike and everything, but I had the Huffy motocross bike. And so we were setting up ramps. And, every kid when our age set up ramps, and you would jump stuff and everything. And I had 6 red bricks. And I put them side by side, and it's 3 high. So it was just, like a little 3 high wall of brick. And then I put a piece of plywood on top of the brick to make a ramp out of. And you could walk you'd walk halfway up, the thing would collapse because it just was terrible, right? And my mom looks at my dad on the front porch. He goes, Smitty, you're sitting there watching these kids with this ramp where they could hurt themselves, and you're not stopping them. My dad goes, they'll figure it out. And that's we could have busted teeth out, stitches in our head and everything from doing stupid things that our parents watched us do. And my dad was like, no, I'm not going to stop them. If they wreck and get hurt, they'll figure they shouldn't do that ever again. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's not wrong. It is not wrong. I think there's a part of that though, right? You have to, You have to allow your children to fail within an environment that they can survive, right? Because you want them to make small failures. You don't want them to make massive failures that impact the rest of their life.
We used to take.
Nothing wrong with that. And by the way, when did failing become bad?
I know. We used to take one of the things we used to do, and then we stopped doing it once we got old enough to realize that really hurts, is we would take the unripened dates off palm trees, the hard green dates. And we would put those in slingshots and just kill each other with them. In the head, side of the face. I would have welts on my face, my arms, and everything from where these green dates would be tearing you up. And then eventually I was like, this game sucks. This hurts. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, it's like the dirt bomb fight.
Yeah.
Like when you're 6 and you can't throw the dirt bomb hard enough, and inside is the rock that you didn't know about. You kill some kid. That's part of growing up. It's tragic, but that's what we did.
Like
Nothing wrong with that.
I remember one of the worst times spankings I got from my dad or mom. I was probably 10 years old. And by the way, 10 years old, my sister was 16. She was somewhere in the house. I think she was our babysitter or something. Who knows? But I'm up on the roof of our house on Stanwick Road in Jacksonville. I'm up on the roof of the house, and I'm tearing off the corners of the shingles and nailing people down in the yard, other kids in the yard with his asphalt shingles. Like, I'm dropping bombs on you, you idiots, and I'm nailing. One kid ended up with 3 stitches in his head from where a shingle hit him and everything. Okay? You know what I got in trouble for? Not hitting the kids with the shingles. Yeah, I didn't get in trouble for hitting the kids with the shingles. I got in trouble for ripping them off the roof.
Well, that one you may have earned.
Yeah, well, but the point was, damn the kid's head that's busted open. Water could leak into my roof, boy. Do you know how bad that is?
Oh, that is not wrong.
Hey, Dad, he's bleeding out of his head. We'll put a butterfly bandage on that. He's fine. What are you going to do about my roof? Now it's going to leak.
God, that's a big deal, man. That's a huge. Man, I'm surprised you can walk to this day.
Let me tell you something. I had to get up there and learn I learned at a very young age how to take a shingle off and replace it and everything. It's not an easy task. And I think I'd ripped like 21, 22 of them. So I had to do that. Took me like 5 days. My dad was on me the whole time. Man. Oh, it was ridiculous. You know what I don't?
You survived that one.
You know what, though? Never again did I think it was okay to tear shingles off a roof. Lesson learned.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
We were allowed, I think the thing that you and I are talking about here is we were allowed to be kids. Good kid, bad kid, indifferent. Sure. We were allowed to make mistakes. We were allowed to learn from our mistakes. Some of our mistakes were painful lessons in learning. Some of our mistakes, sitting down was not an option afterwards.
Sure.
But you learn from we were allowed to make mistakes and learn from them. I don't think nowadays, I think parents try their best to not even allow their kids to make mistakes.
Yeah, and I think it's like it's okay to fail. I mean, that's the only way you're going to learn how to deal with failure is failing. Nothing wrong with that. But you're right. I think a lot of parents, they just want to protect their child, and that's the whole participation trophy thing, right? I mean, it's the same mentality.
I mean, we used to ride our bicycle from Holmesdale, the neighborhood, the little subdivision we lived in, which was, by the way, right next to the interstate. It literally turned into our entrance to our subdivision, and the entrance to the I-95 North was right there, 500 feet inside our subdivision, okay? Then the subdivision was behind it, and it butted up right to the interstate. We would literally, when we were 10, 11 years old, we would climb up on the interstate to go to Mike McCarthy's house, which was on the other side of the interstate, and we would wait and then just race across the interstate. Now cars were doing 55 then, not 70, but that doesn't matter. It's still a lot faster than we were playing Frogger long before there was a video game.
There's a reason why that game worked. There's a reason why that game was fun. Because it was really real life.
Yeah.
That was a life skill.
And with
learning life skills.
Our parents knew in our neighborhood that we went across the interstate to get to the other side. because you couldn't ride to ride around and bike and everything took half an hour. To run across the interstate took 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They knew we did that and didn't stop us. You would never see a parent now letting his kid anywhere near the interstate.
Well, I mean, we used to ride our bikes all the way out to the mall from Highlands Elementary School to the mall, and you could take back roads. Back then, 36th Avenue was a 2-lane road. Bike lanes. Man, bike lanes was the grass.
Yeah. There was a trail in the grass from where people walked and rode their bikes. That was the bike lane next to any road.
That's exactly right. You were happy to have a run.
And it was okay to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk back then.
Sure, that's true. Well, I don't remember sidewalks. Those were a later thing.
Well, I lived in Jacksonville. I lived in the big metropolitan city of Jacksonville.
Yeah, you were big time. I
was a big city boy, city boy. I was a city mouse. Sure. You were the country mouse. I was a city mouse.
That's right. That's very true.
There are people under the age of 40 going, what the hell are they talking about city mouse and country mouse now?
Yeah, that's very true. No, a different world. Completely different world. Now, there were streets that you just didn't go past because it was so far away, right? But even though it was one more block, you're like, I'm not going that far. When
I was 13, we went to putt-putt out on Beach Boulevard. And if you know Jacksonville, Beach Boulevard is on it's 25 miles from where I grew up in Lake Forest, that area, Edgewood, Lim Turner area, okay? Sure. Beach Boulevard. So we're over there. We're visiting friends. We're at a putt-putt. Anyway, back then you had an arcade. The arcade was in the putt-putt, and we didn't have video games on our TV. So I met this girl. I was 13, 14 years old. I met this girl. She lived out that way. So I'm calling her on the phone. You know how you call them on the phone. You fight your sisters for the phone to get the phone. Call her on the phone. Oh, yeah. I call her on the phone. She tells me where she lives and everything. I said, I'm going to come visit you. She goes, shut up. No. And back then, that was long distance. To live 25 miles from somebody was long distance when you're 13, 14 years old.
How did you even know somebody 25 miles away?
Because I'd met her at that putt-putt on Beach Boulevard.
But she might as well live in a different world.
She did live in a different world. But I talked Paul Thies and Tony Farmer into getting on our bicycles. We rode down Norwood Avenue till it got to Pearl Street. Then we took Pearl into downtown, went across the Main Street Bridge on our bicycles, over to Atlantic, took Atlantic across the south side till we got to Beach, and then took Beach out of that girl's house on our bicycles.
That's crazy.
Her parents all upset, call our parents. My dad goes, they bicycled over there. They can bicycle their asses back.
What do you want? Well, exactly.
The old man was having none of it. He's like, they got over there. They know how to get back.
That's right. What are we talking about here?
We're coming back. It's like 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night. We're coming down Pearl Street.
Sure.
We had the big headlight on one of the bicycles. Had a big headlight on it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That thing must have weighed 62 pounds.
Oh, it was like a car headlight that you would put on a bike. You remember those?
Man. And then they would slow you down because they used the friction motor.
Right.
You're like, man, this is just you didn't want the bike.
Yeah, you couldn't use a battery. Somebody goes, why wasn't it battery powered? Because you need a 6-volt. First off, you need that big 6-volt battery if you're going to power it, and it would go.
Which also weighs 6 pounds.
It would go dark in like 9 minutes. It would use that battery up.
No. If you had a light on your bike, you also were wearing a helmet in 1982.
100%.
You probably weren't wearing the helmet for the right reasons.
I tell you, when I got my teeth knocked out when I was 12 years old, Pop Warner kicked the face mask in, broke my front teeth off at the gum. The doctor said that I couldn't have any full contact for 6 weeks and everything because I did get a concussion and everything. My mom comes in and she puts this stuff on me and she goes, "This is the only way you're riding your bicycle forever now." And I go look in the mirror and I go to my dad and I go, "Dad, I can't do this. I don't ever want to go outside again." She had put me in a catcher's outfit. Mask, helmet, padding. She had went to Charlie Coleman's and bought a catcher's outfit and put me in that and said that's how I had to ride my bike the rest of my life.
That's awesome. Come on, you got to admit that's awesome.
It was the worst.
Yeah. That's
the
pretty
worst.
bad, Tom. I'm not gonna lie. don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That's pretty bad.
Catcher's mask and all.
That's pretty bad.
Because I couldn't have contact for 6 weeks.
Oh man.
And if I was going to ride my bicycle like a crazy man, and she wasn't going to spend this kind of money on oral surgeons and all the time, and that bicycle was a dangerous thing, so I was having to. And I looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with a mask on.
Oh, sure you did. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good look, man.
No,
Not a good look.
No. You know how many fights I would have got in if I'd have ever rode my bike to school dressed like that?
All of them. All of them.
I'd have had to get off the bike and just start swinging.
You would have just I'll just walk it from here. I'm not dealing with it.
If I'd had to ride up to my school on a bike like that, dressed like that, that's the kind where you're riding up and you just jump off the bike as it's still moving and it rolls down the road and you just start swinging at people.
Yeah, the people who did that, I'm like, man, you don't respect your bike was everything.
And they would jump off of it while it's still rolling and it would crash and flip and everything.
You can't do that. You got to respect your bike.
It's the only thing I ever took care of when I was a kid.
Well, and if it broke, you had to fix it.
Yeah, because I'm not mechanically inclined. I couldn't work on a car if you wanted me to. I get chills when I have to. This weekend, we installed a bracket on the wall in the bathroom to hang a 32-inch TV so that my wife can enjoy the TV while in the garden tub, right? It caused me serious anxiety hanging this TV because I'm so mechanically uninclined.
Oh my gosh!
But I could take
that thing up in about 30 minutes.
But I could take the guts out of the back wheel of a bicycle with the gears and everything. I could put new walls in there. I could put new gears in there, no problem. Because you had to when you were 12 years old.
Yeah, you had to fix your crank, or your buddy had an old bike and you really liked the way those pedals looked.
And you had to get bearings. Remember those rings that the metal rings that had the little bearings in it that you had sometimes those wore out. You had to replace those on your bicycle.
And you had to do it. Yeah, that was a chore. And you never had the right tools.
No, the screwdriver was always too big or too small. It was never the right tools.
Yeah, and you were hoping you had that one friend who had a shed or something that you could actually go in.
Yeah,
getting a beating.
I was that one friend because my old man was a mechanic and had tools everywhere.
Wow. Wow, there you go.
But we also had the biggest backyard in the neighborhood. We lived where our yard was because of how the river ran and everything, the creek behind the house ran and everything. We had a little over 2 acres. So my backyard was also the baseball field.
I got you.
I mean, my uncle was in carpeting and he took pieces of remnants from carpet that he would cut, and he sewed them together and stuffed them with towels. So he made us bases, and we had a piece of white carpet cut like a home plate and everything. I went back and looked at it when I was an adult. I went back and looked at it. It was a wiffle ball field that we played baseball on.
Not the point.
Yeah, it was probably the edge of the marsh, which was always the home run, was probably 110, 115 feet from home plate. It was nothing.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, so I always had the neighborhood. I always had the house in the neighborhood that everybody conglomerated at because everybody loved Smitty and the crazy old Schmitz lady. Everybody loved my dad, and they come over to see what my mom, because my mom would lose her mind at any moment. She could lose her mind and just go crazy at any moment. And then that was legendary. Kids would talk about that in school. We were over to Schmidt's house, and let me tell you what his mom did. It was legendary. Legendary. The woman was crazy. Okay, let's just I love her to death that she's been gone 13 years today and everything, 14, maybe 17. Hell, I don't know. It was sometime before 2010. That's all I got. Okay? December 28th before 2010. But, she was a crazy woman. And the kids in the neighborhood loved her because of that.
Yeah.
And you would tell people, Miss Schmidt's freaked out again, and they would tell parents, and parents go, well, she didn't hurt any of y'all. They would never tell their kids they couldn't come back to the house or anything. They were always allowed to come over. This is a woman who was a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. Parents were like, "Oh, well, you're not in my house. Go ahead. Whatever. You're not bothering me today. I'm able to watch my stories without being interrupted. Go over there to Schmidt's house. Go ahead."
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
That's a whole different thing, watching stories. Remember how that would – was your mom a story watcher?
No, not at all.
Grandma,
my dad
maybe?
was.
Your dad watched?
No, my dad was.
Your dad's watched soap operas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had certain ones he would watch. But it was one of those things he didn't talk about. It was just like one of those things you kind of knew.
But it never was discussed. Yeah, that's what.
You didn't, yeah.
My dad was a big professional wrestling guy. He grew up in Wisconsin, big professional wrestling guy. And when my mother would say, "Schmitty, that is so terrible, you and the boy watching that fake fighting." And my dad would be like, "Oh, yeah, because all those love affairs on your stories make so much sense."
It's true.
He would tell Mom, I knew right early on that wrestling was soap opera for men. I knew that right away because my dad would compare it to my mom's soap operas.
Sure.
And it's just now.
By the way, it's true.
Oh, it is true. Oh, good guys become bad guys become good guys. It changes every 6 or 8 months, just like on Search for Tomorrow or Another World. Or I'm dating myself now because I don't even know soap operas that are on today.
I don't either. I don't know.
Another World, Search for Tomorrow when I was a kid. I guess that was the 70s. All My Children, General Hospital.
I have no idea. No idea.
No
idea.
They were watched in our household, and you better shut up when they were on too.
Yeah, you didn't talk. You could talk during a commercial, maybe.
Oh yeah, but you didn't talk when the TV was on and something was playing.
Sure.
And my parents were also big fans of Barnaby Jones and Cannon. And I always thought when I'm watching these, I'm like, okay, well, that's Jed Clampett old. How the hell's he stopping anybody? That was Barnaby Jones. And they would do this Cannon, this William Conrad guy. I go, that guy's 350 pounds, running in Sunday shoes, shooting somebody from 75 yards away with a snub-nosed 38. And you tell me that my cartoons are unbelievable?
Yeah, that's right. Well, at the time, you would have never put 2 and 2 together. You're like, okay, I don't know.
We didn't know Scooby and Shaggy were stoners. We had no idea.
What do you mean? I don't even know what that word means.
We had at 8, 9, 10 years old, we had no idea that Scooby snacks were really just the munchies. We had no idea.
That's correct.
I mean,
and then you figure it out. You're like, man.
Well, think about this. Think about how many young kids like SpongeBob SquarePants. This is a cartoon made by a stoner because it's a sponge dressed in a Cub Scout uniform whose best friend, not a starfish, it's a squirrel who everybody is convinced that she put a fishbowl over her head so she can breathe underwater.
Right.
If that's not made by somebody that was high on some sort of drug, I don't know what was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
And our parents, they used to tell me, your cartoons make no sense. I go, you're watching a show that has a Camaro or Trans Am talking to David Hasselhoff. Okay? Don't start with my cartoons.
Oh, that's too far.
Hey, speaking of too far.
It's not real? You're saying Kit's not real?
I'm just saying, speaking of too far, where's the Bloodmobile today?
No, I've met Kit. Kit can talk.
Where's the Bloodmobile?
Hey, Bloodmobile today, we're actually at the Lowe's out in Lady Lake. So come see us there, but as always, we're right on the boulevard. 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Get the voice donate.
Galen, you know from Lights Out. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, bye.
Coming up next, Carol Ann Baldwin. Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. She's in studio. Hey, but the Bloodmobile's at the Lowe's in Lady Lake. Carol Ann might know where that is. We'll talk to her next on WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
4 shooting locations across the Denver, Colorado metro area last night left 5 souls dead, including the shooter and a police officer injured. According to Denver Police Chief Paul Pazin, the investigation is ongoing and a motive is not known at this time. As Americans continue to struggle for some normalcy, the pandemic is now heading into its 3rd year. Dr. Fauci said Americans should cancel their New Year's Eve parties due to the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Fauci also relayed new CDC guidelines about quarantining.
You have so many people simultaneously testing positive. You want to make sure that, particularly among essential workers, that you get people out there much sooner. And by much, I mean cutting it in half, saying that 5 days of isolation, then come out and wear a mask for the rest of the time.
Dr. Fauci did not provide any scientific evidence showing this is a sound decision. USA Radio News.
Hi, I'm Wayne Alaroot for Patriot VPN. Patriot VPN is a virtual private network service that uses military-grade encryption to protect your internet connection on all of your devices. With Patriot VPN, your data and internet privacy is secure anywhere in the world. Why do you need Patriot VPN? Cyber criminals, government, even your own internet service provider collect and use your private information without your knowledge. Examples in the news recently, remember all the companies that have been hacked? Cuba censored the internet to kill protests? Here in America, conservative groups are being actively targeted. Your personal information and internet history is being sold by your ISP. It's all happening every day, but not with Patriot VPN. With Patriot VPN, your internet activity and history is protected from prying eyes forever. Patriot VPN is a veteran-owned business right here in the USA. For business or your family, starting at only $6.95 a month, use code WAR and get 3 months free. With an annual subscription, it's all at patriotvpn.com. That's patriotvpn.com.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The National Peanut Board recently held their December meeting on planning for markets for next year. During the program, they approved a new slate of officers for a 1-year term beginning January 1st. The new officers are Les Crawl of Oklahoma, chairman, Paul Rogers of Virginia, vice chairman, Greg Baltz of Arkansas is the treasurer, and Casey Cox of Georgia is the secretary. You can learn more if you'll go to nationalpeanutboard.org.
The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service has a program to reward and encourage environmental stewardship for ag and forestry producers. The Conservation Stewardship Program is voluntary. Applicants must be USDA operators. For more information on CSP, visit nrcs.usda.gov. Helping people help the land.
The Foreign Agriculture Service of USDA has announced their awards for the coming year. One of the allocations they'll be making to the American Peanut Council is what they call FMD, Foreign Market Development. The Foreign Market Development Program will have allocation for this coming year of $585,000. And the Foreign Market Development Program says that they'll allocate $26 million for this fiscal year 2022. That's to 21 different organizations, including the American Peanut Council. This program focuses on generic promotion of U.S. commodities rather than a consumer-oriented promotion of branded products. The preference is given to organizations that represent an entire industry like the American Peanut Council or a nationwide membership group. The organizations which contribute an average of more than $2.50 for each $1